And what is going on, everybody? Welcome to my review for tonight's edition of AEW Dynamite. We're here to break down everything that took place on the January 22nd edition of Dynamite, which was live to tape on Chris Jericho's Rockin' Wrestling Crew Part 2 at Sea. I really enjoyed the atmosphere here. You know, we had the pool, we had the crowd that was situated around the upper deck where they taped this at. The ring was a little bit higher up. You could definitely hear the wind where they were docked at here. But all in all, I thought it made for a fun, unique atmosphere. You know, it kind of took me back to the days of back in the day when Nitro, they do the spring break shows, you know, the Hog Wild shows, and just filming in a different location, you know, really made for some, made for a nice change of pace here, you know. So I always enjoy that when they go out of the element here, out of the arena. Definitely got me excited for this show here, but which I thought delivered. I thought there was a number of good things on this show. Not everything was great, but you know, hey, doesn't have to be. As long as I get enough good stuff on the show, I'll be a happy camper here. So let's not waste any time here. SCU versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I thought this was a really solid opener here. I like how they continued to tease dissension here between Hangman Page and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, the Elite. Obviously, you know, their history goes without saying here. I think it'll set the stage down the line for whenever Hangman Page does eventually turn on his brother's shirt, but I love the subtlety. Just with the facial expressions and making the tags, and, you know, after, of course, spoiler alert here, but we have new World Tag Team Champions. Towards the end of the match, Adam Page dragged Kenny Omega over to his corner and tagged himself in. He hit the Buckshot Lariat on Scorpio Sky, and he had a Buckshot Lariat on Frankie Kazarian. 1, 2, 3, just like that, we have new World Tag Team Champions. And Page celebrates, but he goes outside of the ring and drinks some beer with the fans. And the Bucks look kind of annoyed here, as they're kind of, you know, in separate areas here with the Omega and the Bucks in the ring. And Omega points to Hangman Page, and he just nods his head. So I like the change of pace here, switching up the tag team titles, because SCU, I really felt like they weren't doing much here as tag team champions. Like I said, it's always good to change things up here. SCU held the title since October here, so no complaints here. Crowning new tag team champions in Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Priscilla Kelly versus Britt Baker. Decent match here. Baker got the mandible claw locked in, and Priscilla Kelly tapped out. Post-match here, Tony Schiavone interviews Britt Baker. She takes the mic from him and says he doesn't need to judge her. He's a good guy. Baker then says before Tony worked for AEW, he was just a shitty barista at Starbucks, and Tony audibly mouthed, "What the fuck?" Crowd boos. Baker tells the crowd she's a role model and a dentist, and also says she is the best looking woman on the boat. So I don't know if this is teasing a heel turn for Britt Baker, who I feel would work a lot better in the heel role. But the match was what it was. I thought it was okay. It was decent. I still feel like the weakest part of this show, week in and week out, unfortunately, is the women's division. I'm not a big fan of the Nightmare Collective stuff. Just doesn't really do a whole lot for me here. And Britt Baker, her matches have just been kind of there. You know, if we could work on her character a little bit, I feel like going heel would be the right fit for her. And she's a dentist. I mean, who likes going to the dentist? So definitely probably the low point of the show here for me. But we picked things back up here. We had the Jurassic Express versus Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz. So, Jurassic Express, probably my favorite tag team in AEW. I love Jungle Boy and Lucha freaking Source. When he gets in the ring, I'm telling you, there's something special about him. Just seeing him tear up against Santana, Ortiz, and Jericho. I think down the line, he will. It's only a matter of time, mark my words here, before Luchasaurus is AEW World Champion. So towards the end of the match here, Luchasaurus tagged in Marco Stunt, and he began to brawl with Jake Hager, who was, of course, at ringside. So they go up the ramp here, and for a second here, I'm like, there's no way that Marco Stunt is not pinning world champion Chris Jericho. He hits a 450 splash off the top rope, only gets a 2 count. And he tries for a couple more pins, but they're all 2 counts. Jericho lands Judas Effect. 1, 2, 3, Le Champion! A little bit of the bubbly. Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle, Santana and Ortiz, are victorious. So a fun 6-man tag here, like I said. Would love to see down the line here Jurassic Express hold those AEW Tag Team Championships. And like I said, Jungle Boy got a lot of potential as a babyface, and Luchasaurus, so much potential. There's money there in a dominant singles run. But we'll get there. We're not there yet, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on here, folks. Move on here to Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus Joey Janela. And, the match was what it was. Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, who are obviously in a program here with Janela, distract him. And Janela tries for an elbow drop. Nobody's home. MJF with the double cross for the victory. Now, what was my favorite part of the show here was the post-match. So MJF, when he's on the mic, it's money. It's gold. He's getting that heat. He's not trying to be a cool heel. He's not trying to get sympathy from the crowd. The crowd to like me. The crowd to cheer me. I want to be a cool heel. No. He wants to be a heel that gets that heat, that gets people to boo him. He will go to any lengths that it takes, and that's old school. Heel, babyface. This program with Cody Rhodes, I'm loving every second of it. So Cody comes down to the ring. MJF is, running his mouth. And Cody gets right in his face. He's like, MJF's like, well, you know the stipulation. You can't touch me until our match at Revolution, which is going to be on February 29th. So we still got a month to go. Got a couple more episodes of Dynamite here before that show. So Cody says, all right, if I can't touch you, I know somebody else that can. So MJF's walking back up the ramp. Double super kick by the Young Bucks. Matt and Nick take MJF over to the pool, and they throw him in. And I'm like, I was so happy to see that pool utilized, and it was refreshing to see Maxwell Jacob Friedman get his comeuppance, because he is a no-good son of a bitch. So, like I said, all in all, I really enjoyed this segment, and probably my highlight of Dynamite here. We had a backstage interview here with Tony Schiavone talking with Omega and Paige about winning the titles. And once again, teasing that tension between the Young Bucks roll in and celebrate. They give them their accolades, and Paige says that he's surprised that him and Omega won the titles before the Young Bucks did. And that kind of seemed to perturb them a little bit. So just kind of teasing here, once again, that potential dissension here between the Young Bucks, Adam Hangman Page, Kenny Omega. We'll see where that goes, but I really like how they're subtly teasing that, and that is a seed that is planted that we will eventually come back to. And speaking of next week, I will be in attendance for AEW Dynamite, my first Dynamite here at the Wolfstein Center in Cleveland, Ohio. We got a loaded lineup here, and we're just going to go over it real quickly. We got Private Party and Darby Allin versus Le Champion, Chris Jericho and Santana and Ortiz. We got the Young Bucks versus The Butcher and The Blade. And we got Kip Sabian versus Cody. MJF will, of course, be in action. And, spoiler alert, new number 1 contender, Jon Moxley, who defeated PAC here in the main event, will be speaking. So, man, I can't remember the last time I saw Jon Moxley in a ring. It's been a couple years here. First time I will be attending a wrestling event in Cleveland. I'll be doing a day in a life video, so be on the lookout for that content. But real quickly here, let's get back to my review of Dynamite. So we close things out here with what I thought was a pretty solid match here with PAC and Moxley, who I don't know if they've ever wrestled before this. I would have to look that up, but I don't believe. So it looks like Jon Moxley and, well, back in the day it was Dean Ambrose and Adrian Neville fought in 2013 on NXT for the United States Championship. But getting into this match here, I thought they had a nice back-and-forth match. I really like how they played with the fact of Moxley's injured eye from the week before, where Jericho took the spike that was on his leather jacket, drilled it into the eye of Moxley, so he had that injury going into it. I like how they played with the factor of the wind playing into the match here and potentially affecting both guys when they went up to the top rope. I like when JR mentioned that. And there was a cruise ship that was going by, and apparently the crowd audibly chanted, your ship sucks," at the cruise ship. But towards the end of the match here, guys, Moxley and PAC brawl to the outside. They get back in the ring here. PAC rips off the bandage, throws a bunch of punches to the damaged eye. Moxley gets up inside cradle for a 2 count, hits the paradigm shift. 1, 2, 3. Jon Moxley wins via pinfall to become the new #1 contender to Chris Jericho's AEW Championship. We end with Moxley and Jericho staring each other down. Like I said, really liked the main event. Love the stuff with MJF and Cody. New tag team champions. A fun 6-way. I mean, really, the women's match to me was the only part where I went, eh. But all in all, I really enjoyed this episode of Dynamite. If I had to give it a grade, I would go with a strong B+. B+ is what I'm giving this episode of Dynamite. And real quickly here, before we go off the air, be sure to follow me on Twitter at DanielGeyser412, Facebook.com/DanielGeyser1994, and here at YouTube.com/DanielGeyser412. Let's check the poll. 12 votes so far in my AEW Dynamite poll. 100% thumbs up, 0% thumbs down. So guys, that does it for my AEW Dynamite review. Like I said, I will be in attendance next week in Cleveland at the Wolfstein Center for AEW Dynamite. Cannot wait for it. Looking forward to bringing you the best content here. Of course, we've got the Royal Rumble pay-per-view coming up. Live reactions for the Rumble. And my review will be up here immediately following the show. So that does it for this video, guys. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to click my like and subscribe button here on youtube.com/DanielGeyser412. And until my next video, guys, I want to say thank you all for watching. I am out, and have a great night.